So from the beginning, the first man was Adam. Your eyes kind of went somewhere. You don't agree with that, or you do?
Yeah, I understand that, but and I do understand that.
Yes.
But I also look at it in two different ways.
Okay.
From the physical level of man, humanity, and from the atomic level. But yeah, I'm following you.
Okay. I have to learn what the atomic level is, so I'm gonna let you school me on atomic level. But read this, Deuteronomy 32:8. So now we talking about this is from Adam, from creation, right? Man was made of the dust of the ground. So Adam, the first man, Eve, the first woman, were both black people. Okay, read that.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32 and verse 8.
And
when the Most High divided to the nations.
He did what?
Divided to the nations.
When the Most High divided to the nations, read.
Their inheritance.
Their inheritance, meaning what was given to them, read.
When he separated.
He did what?
Separated.
So he's saying divided and separated, read.
The sons of Adam.
The sons of Adam. Remember, the officer just brought out, everybody came out of Adam. So no matter what race you are, we all came out of one man and one woman.
Right.
But we were divided into various races. Go ahead.
He set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
See that? So from creation, we were already a people. The thing is in the beginning, we were called the sons of God. We were not called Hamitic, Shemitic, or Japhetic. We were not broken down into those three main, and then we were not called Israelites and Hamites and Arabians, and we were not broken down like that. But it was already set from Adam, the bounds of who the people were. So all of those races come from the beginning. You understand that? Okay. But we are the Israelites, though. All right? We are the ones who have power with God as long as we are in order with the commandments of God.
Right.
You understand that now? Okay. What was your question? Well, okay, atomic. We were talking, you said something about atomic. And I want to know, Keandre, are you following along with what we're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah? So why did we go into slavery? What's your name again, brother? What did we ever ask? Lonnie? Okay, Lonnie. Why did we go into slavery? What happened to us?
Well, because the children of Israel began to disobey, the commandments from
There you
the
go.
Most High.
Very good.
And then, so without me giving them a time frame to like, what's the word is, repent or change their
Grace,
ways, and then
which is right now, grace period.
Yeah, then he warned them first, and then when it still didn't change, and then he wanted certain other tribes of people that wasn't from the children of Israel to enslave the children of Israel.
Very good. Because we broke the commandments of God, officer already brought out that we were the only ones given the commandments, right? So if Israel was the only ones given the commandments, now we are able to better understand why we don't see an Arabian George Floyd. Have we seen that, Keandre? Have we seen a Chinese George Floyd? Have we seen a white Mike Brown? Mike Brown, St. Louis. The one that was gunned down in the street. They left his body in the street, just left him laying there for hours. We don't have any of those of the other races. I'm not saying that they're not getting shot down, right? But do we see that happening are we seeing young white children, the Bible calls them Edomites, do we see young Edomite children on a playground playing with cap guns and the cops are going over and killing them? Because somebody called and said there's a young black man out here with a gun? No, that's only happening to us because the law, statutes, and commandments were given to us. So everything that you see happening in the earth is because we fell and God allowed them to raise up and get above us. We'll touch on that. Read that.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 9 and verse 11.
Hey, sister, how you doing? You got a second to come listen? She got them headphones on. Go ahead.
Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law.
You see that? He didn't say the whole world transgressed. Remember, sin is the transgression or the breaking of God's law. We read that a little bit earlier, right? So he said all who?
All Israel have transgressed thy law.
All 12 tribes, all the children of Israel have broken your laws, God. Read.
Even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice.
You see that? Which is the Bible. We didn't obey the commandments that God gave us. Read.
Therefore, the curse is poured upon us.
Therefore, the curse is poured upon the Israelites.
Right.
Keandre, where you at? Your mind somewhere. All right. So the curses, is that a good or a bad thing, Keandre? It's a bad thing. So he said curses were poured on the so-called blacks Hispanics, and Native Americans. It was a curse to us that Moses talked to us about back in the book of Deuteronomy 28:15, which is what the officer was reading. So those were poured on us, showing that the Bible is a true book. God said it would happen, and it happened to us. Sis, you doing all right?
Yes, I'm fine. You?
I'm enduring, sis. When you come back out, hopefully you take a second to listen to what we got coming out. Yeah, read that.
And the oath that is written in the law of Moses,
And the oath that's written in Deuteronomy chapter 26, 27. Go ahead.
the servant of God,
Uh-huh.
because we have sinned against him.
And it's because we sinned against God. It's not talking about the whole world sinning against God. That's why we see us living in the conditions we live in.
Right.
You understand that? Keandre, who would you say are the most educated people on earth? Who has the best education? Is it us? No. How about food in our community? Can we go into our community and get top grade produce? Are we getting the best meat cuts? Were we getting them in slavery? Damn. So how is it slavery is over, but we still getting the worst meat
Bring
cuts?
it
Just like
up.
we were getting in slavery. It's because we're still under the same curses that we have been under since they were pronounced against us. You understand? Keep reading.
And he has confirmed his words, which he spake against us.
And he confirmed them because we living in them, right? Go ahead.
And against our judges
Uh-huh.
that judged us,
Uh-huh.
by bringing upon us a great evil.
Uh-huh.
For upon the whole heaven
Because across the whole heavens, meaning everywhere you see sky, read,
has not been done
Uh-huh.
as has been done upon Jerusalem.
which is Israel. So nobody is dealing with what we're dealing with. Sis, can I ask you a question? That's your daughter? Yes, that's your daughter, right? Are you married to her father? And I'm not trying to be funny. You're not married to her father?
No.
Why?
He's very abusive.
He's abusive, physically, verbally, all of those things?
All of it, yeah.
Okay, cool. How long were you with him before y'all had your child?
3 years.
3 years. Did you plan, when you first met him, y'all were in kind of what we call a little honeymoon phase.
Yes.
It was all love, twinkling eyes, the birds are singing, right? You hearing bells and all of these things.
Yeah.
What happened why do you think he didn't marry you?
There was a lot of lies involved, and he was not mature enough for that type.
He was not mature enough. Got you. Now, biblically, were you taught before you laid with her father what you were supposed to do according to the Bible? Were you taught it? Yes? So you heard that if you have sex with a man, you have to marry him.
Yeah.
Okay? So,
It's easier said than done.
easier said than done. Okay, got you. I don't want you to think that I'm passing off a judgment. What I'm trying to do is show a point.
Yeah.
Okay? So watch this. Watch what was pronounced against us. Go to Exodus. So let me show you something. What happened is we were never taught the laws the way we were supposed to be taught them, even though they were given to us. What I'm touching on is what he was bringing out. Christianity taught us that now under Christ, because we have Christ, we can just do it the way we want to do it. But the reason that we went into and live in the conditions that we're in today is because we were not taught. We might have heard it, but when you're taught something, Keandre, 2 plus 2 is what? Sis, 8 plus 8 is what? You see that? We were taught that. He knows 2 plus 2 is 4. She knows 8 plus 8 is 16. But we were never taught that if I had sex with a woman that I have to marry her.
Teacher.
There was no other way. When we're taught that, then we learn to fear that, so we won't do the things that we're taught that are either good or bad for us, right? So what has to happen if a young man, Keandre, have you laid with a sister before?
Yeah.
Are you married? No. How about you?
Yeah, I'm not married.
You're not married. Read.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 22 and verse 16.
So sis, what we're teaching is that the children of Israel, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, why we live in the conditions that we live in. Why that young man that did what he did. Why you didn't know not to allow him to do what he did. Because it was in emotions, right? But if we fear God, the emotions don't take place because the fear of God is supposed to be stronger. We're showing what happened to our community and us as a people. Read.
And if a man entice a maid,
Which he enticed you. He spit some game at you. You liked him. He looked good. He probably dressed nice at first and everything. He talked nice and sweet too. Oh, well, sis, if he didn't dress nice, sis, what was you doing? Sis, what were you?
Hey, I was a little slow, all right?
Okay, I got you. But he enticed you.
Yeah, I guess.
He enticed you. Okay, read.
That is not betrothed,
And you were not betrothed, meaning you weren't already promised to another man, right?
Right.
Read.
and lie with her.
And he lays down with you.
He shall surely,
Did it say maybe?
Surely.
It says surely. What does surely mean, sir?
Sorry.
For certain. It has to happen. Read.
he shall surely endow her,
Wait. He shall surely what?
endow her.
Endow her. Meaning there's an engagement and a process that has to happen.
Right.
Your father and his father have to have a discussion. Back then, the endowment was he would give your father something. He would give you goats, lambs, bulls. All right? Read.
To be his wife.
So he had to make you his wife. You could not be his baby mama. Not in the Bible. There was no baby mama, baby daddy in the Bible.
The thing is that every man isn't ready for marriage, and you can't.
Absolutely.
Like if I was to, well, which I already did, lay down with my baby's father
Uh-huh.
and have a baby, and we planned on marriage.
Uh-huh.
But in the end, he was not ready for that.
Right.
I didn't have a choice but to move on. So it's like every man isn't prepared for that type of lifestyle, that type
Right.
of commitment, and God has to be involved.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
have to pray and you have to, talk to God and to keep the relationship together. And so you have to have God involved, period.
Right, right.
He wasn't that type of guy.
Right.
So with that being said, a woman can't, okay, like for instance, I meet him.
Uh-huh.
I've never slept with anyone. I meet him
Uh-huh.
and I sleep with him. We have a baby or whatever, but in the end, he's not who I thought he was. And then I don't have a choice but either, okay, I need to pray about this and move on with my life.
Right.
And go on to whoever will actually be a
So-
person of God and
Right.
want to
So
pray
I
and
get
want to make it
I get your point in that. Now, let's discuss something though. When you go out to buy a car, do you just go to the car lot and buy the car, or do you research the car that you want before you go buy it?
Me, I go to the car lot and buy the car. I don't research.
I got you. So when you get there, you just say, hey, the first car I see, I'm gonna pull my money out my pocket, I'm just paying for it.
No, I look at a couple of them.
You look at a couple of them, you wanna know how it drives,
Yeah.
you wanna know how it works,
Yeah.
you wanna know does it fit you?
Right.
So that means even though you didn't take a long time, you took some time to figure out whether or not that car was for you.
Exactly.
That's fair to say? Watch this, read that.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 6 and verse 7.
Uh-huh.
If thou would get a friend,
If any of us gets a friend, and now we're talking about in the case of marriage, if I would get a husband or a wife,
prove him first.
take the time to know who they are first. Why?
Some people are very good at covering up.
No, I got you. But if you take long enough, they're gonna show their card.
Right.
If you take long enough, they're gonna show you who they are. You understand? Meaning proving, for instance, me and my wife proved for a year before we got married, right? So for 1 year, I got to see whether or not there was things with her that I could deal with and what things I could not deal with. And I could make a sound decision on whether or not I was gonna marry her, but we never had sex before we got married. Because what does sex do to us emotionally?
I guess it makes you more emotional.
It blurs the lines. You understand that, Keandre? Here's the thing, and this isn't to be vulgar. You're old enough to understand this. There is a thing today that's spoken of socially that is called nut clarity.
Post-nut.
You understand that, right? You know what that is. In that moment of ecstasy, it's like, oh, this is the greatest person in the world. And they doing everything you like and it feels good and you in heaven. But then once that moment is over, you back to reality. Oh snap, he don't dress good. He doesn't have a job. There's no way in the world he could provide for me. You understand?
Bring it out.
Same thing with her. Man, her house ain't even clean. Man, she walk around dressed all out of order. Nothing that she says is anything I'm interested in having a conversation with. Sex makes you forget you and him don't really work.
Bring it out.
You understand? So biblically, read that again from the top, 6 and 7.
If thou wouldest get a friend,
So if you want to have a relationship with somebody, now there was a wise man, he died a year ago. He spoke a lot about relationships, a guy named Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels said that men create relationships, women are in charge of the other part, sex. I just make it plain.
I disagree with that.
You think women create relationships?
Yes, I think men are more based on sexual pleasure than women.
Okay.
Because I've been in relationships where I didn't want to do anything physical.
Uh-huh.
But of course, a guy feels like, oh, well, you don't want to do anything with me, then you must be doing something with somebody else, or you don't like me, or
Right.
and it's just like it's not all about that. It's about
True.
who are you? What are you? What type of person are
Yes.
you? And it's like every guy is on that mentally on that level to wanna get to know someone.
Right.
The first thing like guys look at me and they're like, oh, she's attractive.
So-
I wanna do this
Right.
and I wanna do
So
that.
so who controls the access to your body though?
I control the access.
You control the access. So that means unless it's grape, as we say online, right, for the sake of online, if it's grape, then that means he took it from you, right?
Right.
Outside of that, though, you control the access.
Jeez.
So that means that no man should be able to entice you beyond what you know the Bible says when you're living according to the Spirit of God. If you were with us, I'm gonna put this out plain. If you were amongst our congregation, you'd be a daughter to us older men. And guess what? Before you went and did anything, we would be keeping our eyes on you like we were your actual father, and we would be making sure that any man that wanted to deal with you, that you came and talked to us first, and that he talked to us first, because we want to make sure that our daughters are protected from predators.
That's right.
Because he's the one that holds access to relationship, you hold access to sex. Meaning, when I say access, a woman has never had a man in her life that man didn't go and say, hey, I want to be a part of your life. I want you to be with me. Otherwise, the man entices, but women have urges, the same urges as men, and nowadays many women give in to those urges the same way that men do because they don't understand that the Bible says, read it again,
If thou would get a friend,
before you lay down with this man and make a relationship with him,
prove him first.
take your time to know who he is. You've got to know whether or not this man has a job. Does he keep himself clean? Has he been able to maintain a job for 2 to 3 years? Has he been able to pay his own bill in his house? Or is he still living with his mama on his mama's sofa and somebody else is paying his car note? If you would get a man, if a man approaches you for a relationship, do what?
If thou prove him first.
Prove him first. You don't give him access to your body. You understand what I'm saying? These are the sins that we were in because the Bible said that we must get married. But what happens is when this happens, now in this world, like you said, now multiple men are coming to you. You want to be in a relationship, I'm sure.
I'm in a relationship, but I'm in a better relationship.
You're in a better relationship. How long have you been in a relationship?
Well, the person that I'm with, I've known him for 7 years.
You've known him for 7.
But we're just now getting together. It's been 3 months.
3 months. Cool. So guess what? Let me show you something. Finish reading that.
And be not hasty.
And don't be hasty, meaning don't be quick to say,
to credit him.
don't be quick to say he's a good man. You've known him for 7 years, you've been in a relationship or forming a relationship for 3 months, but do you really know whether or not he's a good man?
I can't say I'm sure of anything.
Right.
I can't say that I know 100% of anything. I can only go off of what I've seen
Uh-huh.
and his demeanor, how he is, his personality,
Mm-hmm.
what he shows on,
Yeah,
you know,
on the outside.
on the outside.
Yeah.
And
Now, you know,
it may sound a little funny, but I also watch him from afar when he's not around.
you have
make
to.
sure
You know why you have to, sis? You know why you have to?
he could be presenting to someone in front of
Very
me
true.
and then go somewhere else and be a whole nother person.
So, you know why it's important? Because you got a daughter now. 2 daughters. You've got 2 kids now. There is no man that should have easy access to you ever. Why? Because easy access to you could be detrimental for your kids.
Right.
You understand? So when the Bible is saying prove this man, that means without the affections of intercourse. Why? Because there is no clarity in the midst of that intercourse. It's only after intercourse that you realize me and this dude don't really get along.
Right.
Next thing you know, you got another baby in you. Now, where you at? Now you're a single mom with 3 kids trying to figure it out. Because now men are looking like, man, she's pretty, she's attractive, but do I want to take her with 3 children? And I got to take on 3 different, you see what I'm saying? So now you understand. These are the things that broke us down. Because the foundation of a nation of people starts with family.
Right.
That's the foundation of any nation. Can you have a kingdom and not have a wife and kids? Who are you the king of? The first place that a man is a king is in his house. So if you don't have a wife and can reproduce children, where's your kingdom?
Bring
You
it
understand
up.
what I'm saying?
What is a nation?
Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.
And